Most people think that to build $1 million tech company today, you need a co-founder, a venture capitalist, and a team of 50 engineers. And sure, maybe this was true back in 2015, but today, that advice is not only outdated, it is actually quite dangerous. I've been a lead developer, manager, and a CEO at tech companies that created billions of dollars in value. But before all the success, I was just a regular guy coding for exactly $0 on my high school robotics team. And I have seen what happens when you deliberately ignore the early signs of a shift. What we are witnessing today is the rise of what I call the one-person kingdom. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use AI, not just to write code, but to ideate, validate, and build a business from complete scratch. Let's dive straight into it. So in the last video, we left off with the AI God prompt. And the purpose of this video is, as mentioned before, is going to be utilizing it for our ideation purposes, our validation, alongside how we're going to build out whatever type of solution we come up with, be it a product or a service. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to utilize our prompt, our God prompt, to sort of create an AI God prompt machine. So we're going to be creating a prompt that actually helps us prompt other prompts, so to say. A little bit of an inception type of thing happening, but the reason we're going to do this is because we're going to be utilizing multitude of tools in this specific video, and we want it such that for every single one, we don't have to reinvent the wheel each time. We can just make a singular sort of prompt for it, a singular gem in this specific case, so it can actually tailor all of the prompts for us. So what I'm going to do is I am going to actually put here, I have this example AI God prompt. You can see that it is just the skeleton version of it. I need to tailor it for a custom Gemini gem called Prompt King, whose purpose is to generate proper prompts based on the same exact skeleton that I provide down below. For this specific example, remove all mentions of knowledge not being able to be utilized outside of the domain/knowledge files. And then we do that, and then let's put it to thinking, and then let's see what it comes up with. In the meantime, I'm going to go back here. This prompt helps the user prompt. And then I'm going to go back in here, wait for this to finish up, and then we're going to get started. So the main reason we're even doing this is because you can see I have a couple of things open right now. Is we're going to be utilizing primarily NotebookLM for our ideation and sort of our aggregation of whatever type of idea we're going to focus on. And then we're going to use the rest of these to sort of give an example of how quickly and efficiently you can build something out and start selling with the use of AI. Now, for this specific video, I'm going to keep it a little bit short, and I'm not going to dive into too much detail with regards to coding setups. But if you are interested in that, after the fact, you can leave a comment down below, and I can actually explain how you can do that from the perspective of if you're going to build out a SaaS or not. Typically, I do not recommend software engineers start with a SaaS for a business that they're going to do. I recommend either a service, if you're going to do a product, a very different one. So for this specific example, it's going to be service-based, but you'll see exactly what I mean. So let's see what it came up with. System instructions for prompt king, role and persona. You're a prompt king and elite. You didn't answer general questions. Your sole purpose and high performance system instructions for other agents. Their objective when the user analyze the request, populate skeleton, variable expansion. Okay. Perfect. So let's actually go ahead and put this here. And then click save. Let me delete this, save. Okay. Start chat. This needs to be thinking, ready. I'm gonna prompt it now, see how it does. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to ask it to create a prompt for us to do deep research on what topic we can actually not necessarily what topic, excuse me, what idea we can capitalize on as a software engineer. Perfect. Create a prompt to help me with generating business ideas as a software engineer. Utilize my unique advantages, which are a set of my physical location, network, and experiences. And then for reference, I am located in Los Angeles, California. So I'm going to do this based on myself. You guys can do this for yourself, obviously. I have experience, and for this specific example, I'm not going to take in my entrepreneurship experience here. I'm just going to imagine if I went back to my 9-to-5 state and I'm creating this after the 9-to-5. I have experience consulting for Fortune 500 as a software engineering consultant alongside navigating the regular software engineering world with regards to agile sprints. And in terms of network, I have a wide variety of individuals in my network, included but not limited to doctors, lawyers, blue-collar workers, e-commerce brand owners, beverage drinks, etc. Let's see what it comes up with. So the reason I put this is obviously I didn't go too much into detail. Main purpose is if I was actually doing this from scratch, I would spend most likely a few days on actually getting a proper prompt going. And I would probably upload a PDF or something of literally everything my location offers, who's in my network, what they can offer, and all my experiences. And that's how I would go about it. Okay, now that we got this, prioritize high-ticket recurring revenue models over low-margin consumer apps. There we go. So we get our prompt. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my LLM, do a deep research, and I am going to send that in. So now what this is going to do is we just created sort of this prompt to help us with the ideation of our business model as a software engineer. And what this is going to do is based on sort of my unique advantage is going to give me different things that I could potentially do, okay? Now, do you necessarily have to do it this way? Obviously, I would recommend you actually talk to people in your network, kind of understand everything better, but this is just an example of how I use AI in my day-to-day life to help me with what I want to do. Now, what NotebookLM is going to do is going to research everything for me, and then I'm going to utilize the infographic over here to kind of make sense of everything it gives me instantaneously. And from then on, we're going to choose what we're going to want to capitalize on and what we want to do. From then on, we'll dive into the rest of the things here and explain what each one is for specifically. And that's pretty much it. So let's wait until this is done. Okay, perfect. Our deep research was completed. So what we can do is that we can take a look at everything that we have. So first and foremost, what I'm going to do is actually import all the sources. And then we'll be able to use any of these features that coincide with these sources. My favorite one is the infographic one to kind of make sense of everything. So while all the 42 sources are ready, there we go. I'm going to click on that to generate that, and we'll get a better understanding of what everything presents. You can also do a mind map, audio overview, video overview. In my opinion, infographic is the best one because you can easily kind of make the most sense of it as soon as possible. So we'll wait until this is done so we kind of understand what it came up with, and we'll take a look at what we want to target specifically in terms of a service or a product, whichever it is that we're going to be doing. Perfect. It seems the infographic was actually generated. That took a decent amount of time. So let's open that up and see what it looks like, and we can go from there. Okay. So we have, it seems, 3 concepts. We have horizontal SaaS fails in niche verticals. Generic software cannot handle the specific compliance, workflow, and data needs of regulated industries. A hybrid consulting to SaaS go-to-market model, which is actually exactly what I talk about in my videos. This is pretty crazy. Leverage an existing professional network to launch high-fee workflow audits that convert into SaaS subscriptions. Drastically lower. This model bypasses traditional marketing spend, turning consulting fees into acquisition costs for high LTV clients. LTV is lifetime customer value. And then the traditional CAC here is customer acquisition cost for reference. The target verticals, 3 validated SaaS concepts for Los Angeles, the litigation intake orchestrator, For law firms, automating the chaotic client intake process to reduce risk and quantify case value instantly. This is literally what we do at AB Analytics, one of the services we offer right now. The Concierge Care Compliance Bridge for high-end medical clinics, automating admin tasks while ensuring HIPAA-compliant patient communication. This is also, I've mentioned a lot, especially in California with regards to home health and hospices. Those who kind of have difficulty with billing and coding, there's a significant amount of money in this as well. Entertainment production resource orchestrator for film production, a tool to manage resources and model costs to justify shooting in high-cost Los Angeles. Frankly, I don't know too much about the third concept. So if we were to kind of choose which one we would go with, I would either do concept 1 or concept 2 in this specific case. I think I'm going to go ahead and choose concept 1, the litigation intake orchestrator. So what I'm going to do is I am going to log in on concept 1, the litigation orchestrator. I need further information with regards to how I can best pull it off as quickly as possible. There we go. And once it does that, what we're going to do next is sort of get started on a potential, I guess, research on which specific law firms we can even target and how we're going to go about that. So what we need to understand from the infographic that we saw is that the primary pain point of these law firms were the client intake process. Okay, so this means when it comes to onboarding, law firms are having a significant problem with that. And personally speaking, I have seen this as well, especially for many PI law firms, personal injury law firms. The onboarding process is a little iffy, but also sometimes these cases can take 7 to 8 months, and the settlement value is largely dependent on how cooperative the client is with regards to, are they going to their medical appointments on time, are they even showing up at all, right, and how much money is being billed because of that. So it's very important that the law firm has a proper grasp of these numbers, but also that they can remind the client if they need to go to an appointment or not, right? Because it's not always a doctor's job. So let's see what it came up with. Secure paid plan, come in, do not pitch software initially, pitch a high fee workflow diagnostic audit to your existing network of managing partners. Legal leaders are often risk averse and resistant to tech, but they are highly responsive to identifying revenue leakage. Offer to audit their intake process to quantify exactly how much potential revenue is lost. Use consulting. Okay, summarize this for me in one paragraph, because I don't want to have to read through all of that, and it's also using some weird naming. So I'm just going to ask you to summarize it for me so we have a proper starting point with what we're going to do. From my personal perspective, once again, I have to act like I can't use my entrepreneurship knowledge in this. So I'm just going to do everything from scratch, especially like how you guys are going to start off. So I don't want to talk about too much into what I would do in this situation so you guys don't get swayed by it. That's why I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. So if I like funding your own customer acquisition, that I agree with that. This allows you to bypass long B2B cycle and miss deadlines by validating specific workflow and compliance needs of high stakes in transition. So essentially, I'm going to talk with, for the next video, I need to reach out to the lawyers that I know personally, as well as some who are just in my city that I might not have a one-on-one connection with, and kind of pitch to solve this problem, this immediate revenue leakage, as Gemini wants to call it, manual data entry errors, disparate data sources, and missed deadlines through Concierge MVP that utilizes low-code automation tools rather than a full-built software. So probably N8N or some type of Make.com automation by validating its approval and compliance needs. So this can even be something as simple as even a receptionist, AI receptionist, so we can pull it off, right? Perfect. So what would be my first step as of right now? So let's see what it's going to give us for the first step. And this is where we'll pick up in the next video with regards to how we're going to start off our journey to finding essentially and working on this diagnostic sort of audit for these law firms. So we know their intake process is a little iffy. That's the main problem, right? Onboarding customers. So we're going to do everything in our power to find out what type of solutions we can find. So, no. Okay, you are selling engineering proficiency. First contact. Based on the data you saw, what were the top 5 primary problems these law firms were having? And what type of law firms were these? And then we'll take a look at what it comes up with, and we can use that for our advantage. And then what I'm going to do next is actually, once this is done, demonstrate how we can have sort of like a starting base to use with regards to what we can provide these law firms in the first place. If this often traps spreadsheets to emails, this fragmentation, okay. Manual processes, slow and efficient client intake. 80% of clients expect a response within 24 hours, yet 64% of firms fail to deliver on that expectation. So this is something that can easily be solved. This is something that can easily be solved, and I think I'm probably going to use this in my messaging a lot. This will probably be one of the key things I highlight. Inaccurate timing, tracking. This is pretty big, but I think this right now is our golden sort of egg. And this one. So number 3 and number 2, I think, are going to be our primary things. Number 1 as well, I can throw that in. So this top 3, and in reverse order, basically. This is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. This is what I'm going to be actually prioritizing and focusing on. So because of that, let's see the type of law firms. So mid-sized plaintiff-side litigation firms, employment law firms, workers' comp, PI firms, as I mentioned earlier, right? PI firms, I know they have these problems, and civil litigation firms. So what we'll do in the next video is we'll most likely narrow down on a few of these, not all 4, because that's going to be way too much. So either PI firms only, workers' comp, or employment law firms, and then talk about the slow and efficient client intake, the heavy reliance on manual processes, the fragmented data and knowledge silos from these 3. So what I'm going to do for that is I need a prompt that can create a marketing offer / message for my ICP. In this specific case, my ICP being, and I'm just going to basically copy that. And the problem this ICP is having is, and then I'm going to do these. And then there we go. And then what I'm going to be doing is pasting this back in here so I can use this information to create our actual marketing message or the angle that we're going to take. I'm not going to get into this too much because obviously that's reserved for the next video, but I'm just going to explain to you how we're going to start off the next video. So that's what I'm going to do now. Blah, 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 blah. Let me go ahead and put this in here. And then while this is being done, what I'm going to be doing is, why is it not sending? Is it too much writing? Yeah, it is. Okay, so I wonder what the limit is on this. I wish it gave me a character count. I'm going to be removing, let me see if this is enough. Nope. Nope. Okay. Let's see if this is going to be enough for it. I think it will, but just in case. Okay, so now you might be wondering, okay, bro, this is good and all, but this specific example that you locked in with the law firm is too specific to you, right? What if I don't have the same unique advantage? What am I going to do? Okay, and that's where this next example comes in. What I'm going to be essentially demoing now is how you can create, as a software engineer, the perfect website for any type of a business. So this is going to be web development specifically. Why do I bring this up? Because nowadays you can very easily charge about $1,000 to $2,000 per website for a business. You really only need 100 websites to make $100,000. You need 1,000 websites to make $1 million. And 1,000 websites is very, very doable, especially after you see what I'm about to show you right now. So let's assume that we are choosing some type of an e-commerce website, okay? The reason I say e-commerce is because it's the one that you can make a lot more money on, outside of just like a flat amount of $1,000, $2,000, because you can make commission on these. So what I'm going to be doing is utilizing some type of an e-commerce product. So either a beverage, either a clothing brand, or something along those lines. And the way I'm going to find out about it is actually by going to my local Whole Foods and kind of seeing what they have in stock for their drinks and just other stuff that they have. So let's do pickup. Oops, I just realized you guys can't see it. So let's go to explore. I think it's shop aisles, and then let's do beverages, for example. I want to see what they have that we can choose. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff. Cocktail mixes, soft drinks, Olipop, soft drinks, Olipop, Pepsi, Extra, Zevia, Cove soda. This Cove soda looks interesting. Olipop, watermelon lime. Let's do these Olipop ones. Let me see what this brand currently looks like. Okay, so this is what Olipop right now looks like. This is their, just double check, this is their, yeah, it is. So shop, let me do, for example, ginger ale. Okay, this is their product page. I can see this. Honestly, this one is pretty good. I don't want to do this one. I want to give an example of one that's relatively like bad, but you get the point. So let me, oops, not that. Let me go back here. Let me maybe do a juice, I guess. Synergy, kombucha. No, I don't like kombucha. Actually, I want to do something that at least I like. Coconut water. Okay, I'll do coconut water. I love coconut water. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the 365 Whole Foods coconut water. So let's assume it's this one, okay? Let's assume, for example, that instead of the Whole Foods is now selling this coconut water and they're going to make some type of a branding on it, okay? Now, keep in mind I'm using this example of just some coconut water I found on Whole Foods, but this literally can be pretty much anything. This could have been a clothing brand that I saw, this could have been a furniture shop that I saw, this could have been anything in a local environment to me that I saw that is selling something. It can be a restaurant that's selling food and they have a website, or they don't have a website. This can literally be anything, any type of business that requires a website. I'm just choosing the quote-unquote hardest one, right? Just to show you that it is still extremely possible to do it even on the hardest ones. So what I'm going to be doing is, first and foremost, if I want to create a website from scratch, right? The very first thing I need are proper product images, okay? I need a proper product image. So what I'm going to be doing is taking a quick little photo of this, okay? I'm going to be saving this on my computer, okay? And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to put coconut water number 1. I'm saving that. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go on Whisk right now over here. And what we're going to do is get a better product image of this, because this low key just doesn't look too good in my opinion. I think we can make the packaging slightly better, or at least present it a little bit better so it looks good. So for that, I'm gonna go back to my prompt maker and I'm going to be doing create another prompt based on the following. So I'm going to ask it to, well, we need create a high quality product image using the uploaded, using a product photo that I will upload, and then I'm going to be getting these things from there. There we go, putting in that, sending it, and I'm gonna wait and see what it comes up with, and then whatever it comes up with, I am going to actually put in here and then add an image. So I'm going to be uploading my image. I'm going to be going to my demo folder, grabbing the coconut water, waiting for it to analyze it. I can exit out of that. And then I'm going to be doing this and then clicking that and then seeing what we're gonna get. Just a little bit to see what product we come up with. Okay. Oh, I really like this one. You can even see it with the light. I like this one. So I'm gonna download that and I'm gonna put this in my demo. I'm gonna put good coconut water pick. Okay, now I have a really good pick for it that I can represent. Now what I sort of need is, I wanna add a little bit of spice to it, okay? If we're gonna create this crazy out of the world website, let's say, in this specific case for coconut water, but let's say I want to do this for a clothing brand, I want to do this for a restaurant, and this could be a food, this could be something else entirely. I need to go back to the drawing board and sort of create a new image based on a new prompt. So what I want to do is, if we're doing coconuts here, I kind of want to make it like coconuts are like exploding out of it, or there's some type of an animation going on with the coconuts, right? So what I want to do is now generate a prompt based on the following. So then what we're going to do is do this, copy this exact thing that I have here. So we're going to call it like an ingredient burst. And the ingredient will be coconut. But more specifically, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they use Hao Nam coconuts from Thailand. I believe it's called Hao Nam. Coconuts from Thailand. Let me double check. Nam Home. Oh, I said it backwards. Nam Home coconuts from Thailand. I'm going to do that, and what I'm going to be doing actually is getting another Gemini instance here, creating image. I'm going to be adding a file of our good coconut picture. There we go. And then I'm going to get this prompt and I'm going to be pasting it right there to see exactly what we get. There we go. Oops, I just realized I actually had the thing here too. Let me remove this. There we go. Let's see what it comes up with. And then while that's cooking up, what I'm going to be doing is next, I need to create the transition. So essentially what we're doing right now is, since we want to kind of animate this bursting ingredient of this coconut water, right? I need the first frame, and then I need the last frame, and then I need to go on flow to sort of create a frame type of a video prompt, okay? So I can exit on out of here. Actually, I could probably do it here. You know, let me also do this here because I want to see if there's any big difference between these. I don't think there will be, but just in case. This is phenomenal. I mean, this looks amazing, but I don't think this is Nam Ham actually. This is not Nam Ham coconuts. I think these are just regular coconuts, but it doesn't matter. Let's see what it comes up with. Oh yeah, this is way better in my opinion. This one's way better. But I don't think a coconut has these things, does it? That's kind of like a pineapple. I'll just use this. I think this looks much better in my opinion. So I'm going to download that, wait for this to kind of download. And I'm going to be uploading that to the flow over here to create these. So I don't need this anymore. And I'm going to do coconut water final frame. I'm going to be closing that. So I now need a prompt to kind of create this thing for me. And I don't need this anymore. I need this. Great. Now create a new prompt based on the following. And then now I need a transition prompt. So what I'm going to be doing is creating this transition prompt right here. Coconut. And specifically the Nam Ham coconuts. So let's see what this comes up with. So basically what we did for reference is we got that picture from the Whole Foods listing. What we did is we kind of made it look a little bit better. We put it with some nice soft lighting and with a black background, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna animate it, right? So what we created is we kind of created a final frame for it. Now we're creating the prompt to get the video, the animation, I should say, that will kind of allow us to create this sort of unique website for exactly what it is that we are doing. So let me go ahead and see. Oh, this shouldn't be generating a video right now. Not a video. Should be a prompt generation. So let's see, confused it a little bit. I don't know why I started generating a video. Okay, there we go. I think you got it now. There we go. Specialized motion, you will begin implement define and the define ingredient you must output. And then I believe the ingredient should be listed here as, so frame to video. So I'm going to do the first upload, which is crop and save. And then I am going to do the second upload, which is going to be this one, crop and save. Okay. And then what I'm going to be doing is pasting in my prompt, and then I am going to be removing this part, and then I need to make sure that the ingredient said coconut. There we go. White meat, brown husk, water channel, specified lighting and liquid physics, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then that's where we want it. Let's go and see what this comes up with. And then I'm going to put 4 generations, and then let's see what it cooks up. And then whatever it cooks up, we can download as an MP4 file and just simply throw it on to an actual kind of website that we created, kind of like in the background, in a header. Okay, so it's been a while and this has been stuck on 99%, so we'll wait to see if that comes back. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the other generations and see how those went. So let's take a look at the first one. Ooh, I don't like that in one bit. Let's take a look at this one. Oh, that's much better. I like that. How about this one? No, this one actually was pretty good. I just kind of started spinning, and then it got the coconut out. It's a coconut water. And I don't like how it changed the, so probably, yeah, that part is a little iffy on changing the cap there. That's what I don't like. But let's see what it comes up with. And what I can always do is I can reuse the prompt and do same exact thing again as well, just to get a second generation going. So we'll wait until these are done as well, just so we get more options, so we're happy with it. Okay, seems like all the generations are done. Let's check the other ones. I don't like that. I don't like that. I think this one is still the best one we've got, so I'm gonna download this one. Let's do upscale 1080p. And obviously I'm not spending too much time on this. If this was literally what I was doing, I would spend obviously hours, if not days, to make sure this is perfect. But you get my point. I'm spending less than like 10 minutes, 15 minutes on this, and I'm still going to get a website that will be literally better than what anybody will expect. I'm gonna do that. There we go. Now, all that's left is to create our website. For the website, I'm just gonna use Firebase Studio because it's gonna be relatively simple. I'm just prototyping this. And what I need to be doing is actually uploading what we just created into this, which is this right there. Perfect. We have our MP4 over here. So what we're gonna do now is, since we have our MP4 file, we're gonna get the URL from here and actually use that for what we're gonna do for the website. So let me get the prompt for that very specifically, and I already had it made using the same exact thing that we did. So let me go ahead and actually get the actual prompt. So what I'm going to be doing is I just copied this. I'm going to enter that into my prompt generator so it can create it. Okay, perfect. I have the prompt here. You can pause the video to kind of see what I just input, but I literally just, all I did is I got the link from here, put it into this prompt generator, and asked it to generate me a prompt on a production-ready code base for a single product video first coconut water brand. I didn't specify what it's for, and here's what we're gonna do. Blah, 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 there we go, and then it plays continuously, and then size porting, video reliability, pure cocoa, 100% raw. I'm just gonna put a random name on that, and then prototype with AI. And then let's see what it comes up with. This should theoretically give us our landing page that we would need. And this is just an example of what it would look like to sort of have this type of a project that I would be doing. Now, let's say that I spent 2 to 3 days on perfecting this method, and I'm going to be targeting 100 businesses that are either all in the same niche, so all beverage companies or all clothing brands or some other type of thing. And I'm gonna sell exactly what I'm creating here for, let's say, $1,000 or $1,500. Do you really think people wouldn't take you up on that? Of course they would. Sometimes they would pay even more, because if this website even gets them 1% more conversions, that's worth it for them. That's gonna be more than that 1,500, most often than not, right? So the main thing that I'm trying to teach here isn't necessarily go ahead, copy me and do exactly what I'm doing, but rather look how easy it is, because we all have the same exact resources. We all have access to these resources. All we really need to do is understand how can we be resourceful to identify these resources and use them appropriately to actually maximize the amount of gain we get from it. So I'm doing this for, let's say, the 365 coconut water. Imagine if there was some specific energy drink or up and coming other clothing brand or whatever the case, right? We could do it literally for that and get a phenomenal result out of it, exactly like we're about to write here. So I have no clue what this is gonna look like, but we shall see very, very soon what the landing page will be. And if we wanna make any changes to it, we can. If we wanna change the prompt, we can. Once again, this is just literally my first time running through this entire thing, but I could spend a day or two to kind of tweaking, playing around with it for, let's say, 4 to 6 hours a day, see which one would be the best one, and I would lock in with that and start using that for whatever it is that I'm gonna do. Keep in mind, for the next video, what I'm going to be doing is much more difficult, right? Because we chose specifically the law firm example, and more specifically helping with the onboarding process and all those automations. So this is either going to be done through most likely a combination of things, but N8N automations. This is going to be done through AI receptionist, right? Potentially even a SaaS itself. But the important part will be actually first getting these clients and selling it to them. So I'm going to wait until this is done, and then I'll catch you once the entire thing is finished. Okay, perfect. It looks like the application is completed. Let's see what Coco Zen will look like, which is essentially just going to be like obviously a rebrand of the 365 coconut water that we just saw, right? So let's see how it looks. It's taking a while to investigate. Okay, we probably got hit by an error. Yeah, the errors is probably because of the prompting. So we're going to go back to the drawing board, showcase a new prompt, and see if that works. I'll give it one last try on this, but if it doesn't work, I'll just do a new one. It is completely fine, not a big problem. There we go, perfect. So it seems we actually finally got our little landing page. So let's take a look at what our landing page looks like. Shop now, okay, obviously harvest free young green coconuts, offering the ultimate natural hydration with derivatives, modern functional drink inspired by nature. Benefits, pure by nature, coconut water is a power of natural benefits. It's more than just a drink, it's a choice for a healthier lifestyle from the source to the soul. I think we can do better than this, to be completely honest with you. So I'm going to try again. But remember, we have this one already here. It's not bad, but I think we can do a little bit better with regards to the website itself. I really like this though. Everything else is working, but you can see where we're going with this, right? You can see the vision that we have. So what I'll do is I'll have this in a different one, and then I'm going to create a new one. And this one I'll use a different prompt for, but the same exact thing. Okay, we're gonna try a new prompt, click on that, see what it comes up with, and then we'll get back to you the second this new prompt is done, which should be relatively quickly. But this is kind of the point of this video. You can already see what we are able to do with the tools that already exist out there. And I didn't even have to do any coding here. And imagine if I move this over to anti-gravity, move this over to Cursor, Cloud Code, some type of an IDE where I have a little bit more control over it, and I have a lot more time and effort kind of that I can put into this. I can literally create something so unique, and if I offer it and say, hey, look, I just really quickly mock this up for you so you can take a look, I will give this to you right now for $1,500 if you want it. Or even as a gesture of goodwill, maybe you enter, this is your lead magnet, you give this for free to somebody, and then you come in and kind of take on a bigger project or like a bigger thing you're gonna do with them, right? Like $5,000 or $10,000 worth. So there's a lot you can do, and already with this should give you an idea as to what is really possible out there. So we'll take a look at what this one looks like, and then we'll end the video there, and that will be pretty much it. Okay. Perfect. It seems like this one has completed as well. Cocoa Pure, oh, much better. Pure coconut water, modern take a natural hydration with a perfect blend of electrolytes. The purest hydration. Obviously, this is just a placeholder. We would replace this with the actual coconut water picture. So what is this one? This is the product itself. Where is the product section? There we go. What is it using right now? That's the product image being passed in. Placeholder image is fine. Okay. And then this library placeholder images. Okay. So you would just change that. Let me check the page. TSX. That's finding here. Yeah. Okay. So anything you can really change, you would come and change here if you want to. Obviously, we need to change that. What's inside? We have a nutrition label. Don't just take our words for it. Frequently asked questions. There we go. But you can see how big of a difference, like even just these two are with regards to having a website, right? Like this one is much better in my opinion, obviously. But just look how cool this looks. Take a look and see how cool this looks. But that's pretty much the end of this video. Hopefully this kind of gave you a little bit of insight as to how you can monetize your skills right now as a software engineer. And hopefully this helps you kind of at least give you a little bit of idea as to what you can do. There are a plethora of things you can be doing. I just brought this example with coconut water. You can do this for literally any type of a brand, okay? Any type of a brand you can do this for. And all of them will love you for doing it. So without further ado, thank you so much for watching. And as always, have a good one. And if you want to know how you're actually gonna market and sell to people, for that, you're gonna need to watch this video right over here. Have a good one.